Okay, time for a quick confession. I haven't always been the biggest fan of Cher's music. Not that I thought it was bad or anything like that. It just wasn't the music that I gravitated to. Well, at least until this album came out. Yep, way back in the early 80s, I was really into the music of Jim Steinman, as performed by Meatloaf. And when Meatloaf's follow-up album to Bat Out of Hell hit the record stores, I was one of the first to buy it. And wouldn't you know it, one of the very best songs on the album was a duet with Cher titled Dead Ringer for Love. While the song didn't perform all that well on the charts over here in the States, in the UK, the song went all the way to number 5 on their singles chart. I have heard Dead Ringer for Love described as something from the movie Grease, but on steroids, and I think that is the perfect description. After that song, I must admit that I paid more attention to Cher's work. And when she hit the charts hard during the late 80s with her single If I Could Turn Back Time, well, I was 100% on board. At that point, I started to pay more attention to what she'd done during the 60s and 70s, and it was at that time that I really came to appreciate her work with former husband Sonny Bono. You know, there was a time during the late 70s when I primarily knew Sonny for his comedic work on TV and in the movies. I didn't realize that between 1965 and 1972, Sonny Bono, along with his then wife, Cher, had 6 top 10 hits on the Billboard Top 40 chart. So at this point, you're probably asking yourself, when the heck is this guy going to start talking about this so-called surprising truth about Cher? And what could it be? Well, my friends, here it is. Did you know that Cher isn't all that big of a fan of her own singing voice? According to the newspaper The Daily Mail in the UK, Cher doesn't enjoy listening to her own singing voice at all. In fact, Cher thinks she is a much better actress than she is a singer. I have got to say that when I first read this, I was totally caught by surprise. Her voice is so distinctive, strong, and at this point, dare I say, iconic. It's just hard to believe that Cher doesn't think her voice is something really very special. That's not to say that I don't think that Cher isn't a great actress. Without a doubt, she's great. That said, I really do think that years from now, future generations are going to remember her primarily as one of the great recording artists of the second half of the 20th century. Now, you may also find it interesting, although not as surprising, to know that Cher considers her performance as Rusty Dennis in the 1985 film Mask to be her finest work on screen. Inspired by that role, Cher has taken on additional responsibilities beyond the world of entertainment, and in the past she's acted as the national chairperson and honorary spokesperson for the National Children's Craniofacial Association. And here's one more fun fact. Remember when I said Cher will be remembered as one of the great recording artists of the second half of the 20th century? Well, here's why. Cher is the only artist to date to have a #1 single on a Billboard chart in 6 consecutive decades, from the 1960s all the way to the 2010s. So that's it. Does anyone else remember this tender reunion on Late Night with David Letterman? I sure do. I thought it was really great television, and thanks to YouTube, I can now relive that magic moment whenever I want to. God bless the internet. Alright, now it's your turn. Please share your memories in the comments section, and while you're at it, I'd love a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and I would be absolutely honored if you would consider subscribing to my channel. I talk about music, movies, and television, mostly from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. You know, the good stuff. But most importantly, and as always, thank you so much for watching.